just in time. It seems that there is quite a bit of a storm outside, huh? Yes, but we'll stay nice and dry in here. Now, if I recall correctly, you were here for an upper body joint and muscle exam. Is that correct? Doing a musculoskeletal examination. Wonderful. Would you mind just confirming your name and date of birth? And is that your preferred name? How do you like to be addressed? Wonderful. Okay. So, is there any particular reason why you wanted to have this examination today? This musculoskeletal exam. Okay. So no injury at all to the shoulder, elbow, wrist, or hands. Very good. And any current pain in the shoulders, elbows, wrists, or hands? Very good. And no recent surgeries? No. So I'm already scrubbed up, and we are going to get right into the exam. For this examination, I will be touching you primarily on the arms and hands. Is that okay with you? Do I have your permission to do that? Wonderful. So, we are going to have a lot of movement in this exam. Both movement that I'll ask you to do, as well as movement that I will guide you through. And we are going to do a lot of inspection, a lot of palpation. Some things might be a little tender. Do let me know at any point if it is. Wonderful, thank you. So, firstly, we're going to look at the shoulders. So, I want to look at the alignment. If there is any scars, any swelling, any wasting of the muscle of the tissue. And I'm also going to be looking behind you as well for alignment, for any issues with the scapula. Just check behind the shoulder here. Good. And the other side. And I'm just going to use the backs of my hands to feel the temperature around the shoulders. We'll see if there might be any signs of arthritis. So I'm just going to put my hands against your chest and around the shoulders, around the joint. From time to time, I will be jotting down some notes. There are also quite a few things we're going to be doing. Luckily, I have a little checklist here. Now, we are going to do a little bit of palpation. Let me know if there's any pain. We're going to start with the sternoclavicular joint here. And move along the clavicle, the acromioclavicular joint. we have into the upper arm bone, the humerus here. And we also, right behind here, have the spine of the scapula. The other side, sternoclavicular joint here, into the clavicle. The acromioclavicular joint, the coracoid process. Down into the humerus. And the spine of the scapula. Okay. Now I'm going to have you do a quick test for me. I'm going to have you turn around and put your hands against the wall. And what I'm going to be looking for is any winging in the scapula. So if you could just turn around for me and press against the wall. Good. Okay, that looks normal. You can go ahead and turn back. And I'm going to write some notes. And then we'll get into some compound movements. We're going to do quite a few different exercises. Good. Now, I am going to have you take your hand and put it against your back. Try to go as far up your back as you can. Good. And if you could do that with the other side, put it behind you and try to go as far up your back as you can. Yes, oftentimes one of them will be a little easier than the other one. Good. And then we are going to have you put your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers together behind your head, and then if you could push your elbows backwards as far as you can. How does that feel? Okay, there's no pain. Very good. You can go ahead and put that down. Good. Now I'm going to have you put your hands down to your side and then bring your arms as high as possible. You do that? As high as possible. Yep, as far back as they'll go. And then bring it forward and all the way back. As far as you can go there. Back, back, back. Okay, and how's that? Not too bad. Good. And let's put your hands to the side. And then you're going to bring your arms out as far as possible and come up. Good. And if you could bring your arms all the way back and go across your body as far as possible. You bring your arms across your body. Yep, so it looks like you're kind of holding yourself in a bit of an awkward way. Very good. Now I'm going to have you tuck your elbows in so that they're just about touching your rib cage. And then I'm going to have you move your hands out as far as possible. So if your hands are in front of you, you want to move outwards as far as possible. Good. And how does that feel? Yeah, there's a bit of a strange stretch in here. There's a lot of things going on there. A lot of muscles interplaying. But no pain? Good. Okay, so one hand at a time. I'm going to have you take your thumb and try to go up your back as high as possible. Okay? Try to point your thumb, go up your back as high as possible. Good. And the other side. Take your thumb, go up your back as high as possible. Very good. And now I am going to have you do a little bit of movement while I am feeling your back, and I have my hands around your scapula. So I am going to have you raise your arms up and then all the way up. So to a 90-degree angle and come all the way up. Okay? Then I'm going to have you very slowly let your arms come down. So I'm going to be feeling right over here. And I just want you to raise this arm up to the side and then all the way up. Good. And if you could bring it very slowly back down. Very slowly. Good, good. Was there any pain while you were bringing it back down? No? Okay. On the other side, just going to try to get out of the way here, but let you bring your arm up. Good, all the way up. And if you could let your arm fall very slowly. Good. Good, good. Okay. And no pain with that either. So we're going to do a little bit of passive movement. You get to take a little break. I am going to be moving your arms in a set of motions that you had just done on your own. I want you to let me know if there's any restriction or any pain at all. So we are going to start by taking one arm and bringing it as high as possible. Good. And then we're going to bring it backwards. Okay. Right? And the other side, we're going to bring this arm up. Good. And we're going to bring it backwards. Backwards. And okay, flexion looks good. Passive flexion. Okay. And let's go ahead and come with one arm. We're going to go all the way to the side here. And bring it up. Good. And bring it back down. And this other arm. Point. And back down. Good. Okay, and I'm going to bring one arm across your body here. Good. We'll bring that back. the other arm, we're going to bring that across as much as possible. Okay, got some good flexibility. And then I am going to have you tuck in your elbows, and I'm going to move your arm. We're going to move that outwards, back, the other side, outwards, and back. Good. Okay, I'm going to have you have your arms to the side, and we're going to have your palms facing in. I am going to put my hand on the back of your hand. I'm going to have you try to push against me, okay? So try to extend your arm against my hold here. I'm going to start with one arm. Just going to put my hand on the back of yours and go ahead and push out against that. Good. And the other side. Just putting my hand on yours, and if you could push out against that. Good. Okay. Now I'm going to bring your arm up, and like we had done earlier where we let your arm fall very slowly back down, I'm going to have you do that again. I'm going to take one arm, move it up, I'm going to let go. You just let that fall back down. Good. And then the other, we're going to move up the side. I'm going to let go, and you're going to bring that back down very slow. Okay. I am going to have you bring your arm out slightly forward for me. I want you to flex your arm, and I'm going to have you try to press out against me, okay? I'm going to hold against you, and you're going to press outwards. So I'm going to have you just press out against my hand here. Good. Bring the other arm up, flex the arm. I'm going to press, and you're going to try to push out against me. Right here. Just push out against me. Good. Now I'm going to have you put your hand at the small of your back so that the back of your hand is touching your back. I'm going to press my hand against your palm and your fingers, and I want you to press outwards, okay? So I'll help you here. Back of the hand to the small of the back. I'm going to put my hand against yours, and I just want you to press outwards against my hand. There we go. And the other side. Put your hand against the small of your back, and I'm going to put my hand against yours, and I just want you to press out against my hand. Very good. And then we're going to be moving on to the elbow exam. So I'm going to have a look at you. I want you to have your arms down by your side with your palms facing forwards, right? So that we can see the crooks of your elbow. from in front, as well as the sides. And I can look behind as well. We're looking for things like scars, swelling, deformities, erythema. And if you could just show me your elbows real quick, we'll look for any signs of plaque psoriasis right in the elbows here. Okay, that looks good. Okay, and then we can do a little bit of palpation. I'm first going to feel around the joint with the back of my hand. Feel for any temperature changes. Let's do that right now. Good. If you've ever overworked a joint before, you may feel that it's very warm to the touch. And that's what I'm looking for, is that warmth there. And then we can do some palpation. Do you have any tenderness on the inner or outer tendons here, in the back, anything like that? No. Alright, well, we'll see here. If you work on the computer a lot, or maybe you do handicrafts like knitting or crochet, this area can get pretty goofy pretty quick. That's where you get your tennis or golfer's elbow, the epicondylitis. Any pain or tenderness here? You have good mobility here. It doesn't feel very stiff, which is good. And the other side. Good mobility. It's a good idea to massage the inner and outer parts of the tendons. Get some blood flow in there. Make sure it doesn't get knotted up. So that's not a fun one. So I'm going to have you flex your elbow to about 90 degrees, and I am going to feel along both sides of the bicep. You could just flex your elbow. Good, and I'm just going to feel along the muscle. Good. You can go ahead and put that arm down. And if you could flex the arm, elbow 90 degrees, and we'll feel along the muscle here. All good. You can put your arm down for the moment. And then we're going to do a little bit of what looks like a stereotypical weightlifting maneuver, where we have our arms down, we bend them at the elbow all the way up, and then go all the way down. We're going to do that a couple of times, bend all the way up, and come all the way down. If you could do that for me. Bend them up and down, bend up and down. Good. I'm going to have you hold out your hands, and we'll have the elbows at that 90-degree angle next to us. I want your palms to face the floor. You're gonna hold it like this. And I'm gonna have you turn your hands up while they're tucked into your side, and then turn them down. So flip them up, flip them down. Just like that. Very good. And then we're going to do some more of that passive movement. So I will be taking hold of your arms and moving them around. So let's take one arm, and I'm going to move it up and down, one hand at a time. I'm going to stretch up, back down, up, back down. The other side, up, back down, up, back down. Good. And then I'm going to put your elbow right here, that it's tucked in, 90-degree angle. And I'm going to turn your hand over. So if you could have your palm to the floor. Good. And I'm going to turn it and turn it back. Turn it over. Turn it back. The other side, elbow tucked in, 90-degree angle. Palm towards the floor. I'm going to turn over, turn back, pronation, supination. Good. Right. Now again, I'm going to have you bend your elbow that 90 degrees, and I am going to have you press against my hand here. We're going to press in and out. So if you could just bend your elbow here. I'm going to have you a little bit more up. There we go. I'm going to hold your arm, and I want you to press outwards against my hand. Press, press, press. Good. And I'm going to switch position. I want you to press inwards against my hand. Press, press, press. Good. And put your arm down. Other side, same thing. Elbow bent at the 90. And then I'm going to hold your arm. Press outwards for me. Press, press. Good. And I'm going to hold in here. I want you to press inwards. Press, press, press. Good. And put your arm down. And your elbows are going to get a little bit of a break. And I'm going to pull out a pillow. And we are going to do a little bit of hand and wrist examination. This is a very soft, very fluffy pillow here. It's made out of velvet. And I'm going to have you rest your hands right here. Yes, it's very, very poofy. Feels extra luxurious, almost as if you're not getting your hands and wrists examined. And I am going to start by taking a look at your hands. So if you could lay them palm down, We're going to look at the wrist. We're going to look at the nails. Good. We're getting good capillary refill. Good circulation there. And the tendons. And if you could flip your hands over so your palms face the ceiling. We're going to look at the palm and the underside of the fingers. Look for any thenar, hypothenar wasting. Any palmar thickening as well. Okay. Good. And I'm going to have you flip your hands over again, and I am going to be feeling from your fingers up your arm for any of those temperature changes. Right. So just hold your hands still. Okay. All right. So that is all very slightly warm to the touch, not overly warm, not cold. Now let's look at the pulses. So we have the radial pulse, which is going to be just below that big muscle of the thumb, right below the crease of the wrist. Good. And then we're going to feel the ulnar pulse, which is on the other side, just below the big mount, where you can feel there's a little head of the bone here. We're going to feel right below that. Good. And then the other side. Palpate the radial pulse. And then the ulnar pulse. Then we're going to check a little bit of sensation. We are going to test the medial, ulnar, and radial nerve sensation. I'm going to be touching your hand in a few different places. I just want you to let me know when you feel my touch. Okay? Right. So. Good. Good. Yep. Other side. Good. Good. And if you could flip your hands over so that your palms are facing the ground, and we'll feel for the radial nerve sensation. Good. Good. Excellent. That is very good. I'm going to do a little bit of palpation with the joints. So first I'm going to squeeze your hands together and squeeze the metacarpopharyngeal joints. Let me know if this is painful. Any pain here? No? Now I'm going to feel the joints of each individual finger. Do the interpharyngeal joints. Let me know if this is painful. Index finger. First joint of the second finger, second joint. First, second, more distal. And the pinky here. Good. Let's feel at the thumb. This is my left side, your right side. Good. And the other side. Start with the index finger. Good. And the second finger. Distal joint. And the thumb. Good. I'm going to do some palpation in the snuff box area. So you have your first joint, you have where your thumb attaches, and then we have the anatomical snuff box. Let me know if there's any pain or tenderness. No, not so much. Okay. I'm going to have you hold your arms up a little bit, and I'm going to feel from a little bit into your upper arm. We're going to move down the arm. We'll start right here. Good. Any pain or tenderness? The other side, if you could hold that up. There we go. Get into the upper arm. A little bit there. Oh, yeah, I might have been grabbing a little bit right there. I apologize. How is this? Okay. I'll try not to manhandle you in the future. Now we're going to do some of our movements. I'm going to have you lay your hands down on the pillow, palms facing up. I want you to make a fist and relax. Make a fist and relax. Very good. And then I'm going to have you put your hands together and lift your elbows as high as you can. Good. And can you put the backs of your hands together? Good. And now I am going to be holding your hand and moving it in flexion and extension. I'm just going to hold your arm and move your hand up and down. Go up and down, up and down. Other side, up and down, up and down. Good. Now I am going to have you put your palms towards the ground. Lift your arms up and spread your fingers. Splay them just like that. I'm going to try to push them back together. I want you to resist that. Okay? Keep your fingers apart. I'm going to try to push them back together. Good. And now if you could keep them together, and I'm going to try to pull them apart. I want you to resist me pulling them apart. Good. You got good strength there. I'm going to have you hold your hands, palms up to the ceiling. And I want you to put your thumbs up. I'm going to try to push them down, and I want you to resist me pushing them down. So palms up, thumbs up. I'm going to try to push them down. Good. Okay, good strength. Now, I'm going to have you squeeze my fingers with all yours, and then just with your first finger and your thumb. So go ahead and squeeze my fingers. Good, good grip. And go ahead and use that pincer grip. And just use your thumb and index finger to pinch my index finger. Good. Now I'm going to grab a coin right here, and I'm going to put it down. I want you to pick it up with your first and index finger. Put it down. Okay? So if you could pick up the coin, put it down, and with the other hand, pick it up and put it down. Good. Very good. Now we're going to do the Tinnel test. I'm going to have you palms up towards the ceiling, and I am going to be tapping along the wrist here. If you feel any sort of pain or twinge or anything like that, let me know. I'm just going to very quickly do some tapping here. Any pain? No? Other side. Do some quick taps. No, no pain. And we're going to do one last test. I want you to put the backs of your hands together, elbows up, and I'm going to have you stay there for about 60 seconds. Okay? Yeah, you're going to be a little bit tired after that. Certainly a bit of a workout. Nope, just keep going. Keep your hands together, elbows up. It'll be over before you know it. Had to save the hardest test for last, of course. Not too much time left. Just a little bit. Less than 15 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And down you go. Very good. And how was that? A little tiring, yes. Yes, indeed. But otherwise, you did do really well. Do you have any questions for me at all? No? Well, this was a perfect musculoskeletal exam of the upper body. I'm quite pleased with it. And I'm just going to sign off. And that'll be it. I'd like to thank you so very much for coming into my office for this examination. I hope you have a whale of a day and a good rest of your night. Thank you. Bye now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I create primarily medical, alternative medicine
pseudoscience and personal attention ASMR roleplays. If you want to check out a specific category of my videos, my channel playlists have everything from sci-fi